Hi, everyone. This is Michael Connon representing the TooMedToo's Star Wars Network. We've got your fix. And if you want to help support the network, you can. We always got super chats you can drop on when we're doing live shows on YouTube, or you can check out the Patreon. Go to patreon.com // one of the slashes. I never remember that. TooMed2, and there's a bunch of different tiers on there, or whatever you want to do. We can always figure something out. So tonight is number 50 for the Bacta tank. I don't. It's great because it's number 50, but I don't put too much credence into it because there was the Monday live chat before for I don't know how many times I did it. So this is actually probably I'd have to go back and count, probably like number like 90 or something like that. But anyways, so the Bacta tank, it is actually number 50, which is kind of ironic because my 3-month anniversary from starting the network was 2 days ago, and I started it because I wanted to make Star Wars friends that I could hang out with. And I think it's just fitting that the person I have on today is someone that became probably my best Star Wars friend and one of my best friends in real life. We have none other than Pappas. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Mikey, how are you, man? Congratulations on number 50.
Thank you.
It's amazing to me to watch you evolve in the community with your content from when I met you at some weird bar in Brooklyn on a Saturday evening after Comic-Con in 2016, I think.
No. It was 2018.
Oh,
it hasn't even been that long.
Well, what is time anymore?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, it's pre-COVID and post-COVID, and we're still in the COVID, so we don't even have the post yet. So we're still trying to figure that out.
Are you sure it was too good?
Yeah, dude, 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago because I started the network on January 3rd. On January 29th, I had my personal Facebook page. That was it. On January 30th, I had YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, everything TooMed2. And that was the funny thing. Like, I hit the mother load because I just started to make Star Wars friends and started putting out videos, and they were horrible. They were crappy. I still don't know what I'm doing, but even then I knew even less than, what to do. And I just, so the way the story goes, I get a text message, or a message on Twitter. Hey, we see you're in New York. We're getting together. There's a bunch of us podcasters and getting together. You want to come meet us up? And I have no idea who it is, what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And then I'm thinking about it, like, this is really weird. Like, just out of nowhere, people are inviting me to come to this party. And I'm like, I'm thinking, like, what if they're like weirdos or whatever? What if they're like the old sweaty sitting in the corner, like arguing over who shot first and frame by frame? And I walk into this party, and I'm the biggest fucking nerd there. Like, I'm the dorky one. It's the complete opposite of what I was expecting. But I walk in, it's you, Fernando, Johnny, Emily, the guys from Tau Swift. There's so many more people there.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it was a fun night. I remember that now. That's when I was wilding out.
Yeah, but I was walking around and talking to everybody like, hey, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I do this? Like, I was joking around. I was that annoying, crazy guy, like, trying to figure everything out. And, at the time, I still think I was. And everybody's like, oh, no, you were fine. You were just trying to find yourself or figure stuff out. So, that was cool, too. But, yeah, we've had some fun times.
Yeah, a couple Comic-Cons, a couple nights out, couple of Mandalorian viewings, couple of Chicago nights and days and mornings.
Yes, sir.
It's been fun to ride the Star Wars roller coaster with you for the past couple of years, man. And here's to another 50. I think that the channel's great, and I love to watch you kind of grow this thing, man, into the the monster it's kind of becoming already.
Well, that's what the funny thing is now. Like, I've had the Monday night show now for I don't even know how long, and I'd actually have to go back and count. I don't know if there's how many episodes there are or whatever. I mean, I already said that, but now it's gotten big enough that I started when I was out with COVID, because I was out for 8 months or 9 months. I started another show, The Septic Tank, which is kind of a free for all, and we don't really care what goes on, and it's usually Star Wars, but Star Wars that brought us together, so we just talk about that. I can't do it anymore because I'm at work, so I have other people that are friends of mine that I met through Star Wars that do the show for me. It's usually Kylo Customs, Rural Farm Boy comes on, Gannon 136, Spencer. I met Spencer through another YouTuber's stream going in there, and then he started watching mine, and now he hangs out with us over on Live It. Now a couple of my Star Wars friends are on Live It too, live streaming over there. So it's like, once you can, it's a really good community for the most part.
Yeah, I watch you guys. It's a lot of fun. You have fun with it. You don't really stick to any one format, which I appreciate. And, people want to hang out. People come in there and hang out, and they get recognized and engaged and interacted with. And I think that's what it's all about. I mean, I think the fandom has gone through such flux, still going through flux. And, it's important to keep things lighthearted and fun and stick to the positive, I think that's the most important thing today, man. That's what you guys do. I mean, I think Septic Tank does it well. You're always positive on here, kind of staying away from all the bullshit. And, I think that's why you're having such success too, Mikey.
And that's like I was saying, Kylo doing the show for me. It started him. He had a YouTube channel that he hasn't done for a long period of time, and it got him going with his YouTube channel again too. So, kind of like on days that I'm not doing my show, he's doing his show, and which actually helps me out because then I don't have to do a 4 or 6 or an 8-hour show like I used to do sometimes in the past, because I'd be getting done and somebody else would pop on and we talk for an hour or two, and then I mean, there were literally some that went like 6 or 8 hours, but they were usually 3 or 4, but now they don't have to be that long anymore because there's another outlet for us and our friends together, and I don't do YouTube for the ratings and the money and whatever it is. It's more for the fun and the camaraderie. But like right now in the chat we have Pauline Harvey, we got Rural Farm Boy, we got Facebook user. So it doesn't come up if you're on Facebook. It doesn't come up your name. It just says Facebook user. But I can tell it's my buddy Space Roach, just from the comments that he's leaving. Got Chris King in there. We got a bunch of looky-loos. Looky-loos are fine. You don't need to talk. You don't need to do anything. Just hang out with us. We got Trevor Beast coming in from Twitch. Trevor Beast has been on the show quite a few times. He's kind of the quiz guru. He's on Sporkle. He runs the Star Wars. He's going to yell at me because he doesn't run it. But he's in charge of the Star Wars part. But yeah. All right. Enough about me. Enough about the show, man. All right. We got 50 out of the way. We're going to do another 50 more shows, another 50 years, whatever it is. I'll be, episode number 54. We'll be watching together someday when we're 125, in the nursing home with sitting there, probably maybe Bill and Josh with us. Who knows who's going to be hanging out with us then. But all right. Yeah. Let's talk about Mike. Who is Moneybags? I already know this. I know a lot of the stories, but for anybody that doesn't know, like, how did your Star Wars story start? Because you're not just into Star Wars. You like a lot of nerd things like gaming and Transformers. And I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit of the whole culture nerd ecosystem, but Star Wars is number one. It's always been number one. Since the first day that I saw, Star Wars when I was 1984. I think I was 3 years old, and I watched it with my pops back when it was on. First time it was ever on televised. I think it was CBS. And then got my Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back VHSs in 1987, and I only had a handful of VHSs back then. Empire and Jedi were 2. I didn't get Star Wars till a little later, along with Karate Kid, Back to the Future, Labyrinth, and whatever, a bunch of other ones I didn't really care about. But, for me, it's been a huge influence in my life. And it's helped me get through a lot of hard times. And regardless of all the other stuff that I do love and I care about, I'm passionate about, like Star Wars is always be number one. So, when Lucas sold to Disney and, stuff started to come up on social media and the community started to build out even more so than it has been ever since the prequels on social media. I just really entangled my life into it. The blogs, the sites, Twitter. I work in digital media, so I hooked up. I was at IGN at the time, and I got in contact with the Making Star Wars guys back in 2015, I think. And I was an avid listener. I'd write in all the time, and I kind of got close with those guys. And then I met Johnny Grasso in, I believe, Comic-Con summer of 2015 or fall of 2015, I forget. And we just had this idea to start a podcast together. We launched that podcast in March of 2016 called Rogue One. And we ran over, I think, 230 something episodes with our buddy Hawes Burkhardt as well. And it was a great ride, man. We had a great ride through the whole entire sequel trilogy, which was awesome. And I'll never forget it, and it really made some of the best friends I've ever made in my life. It's got me to just really explore the fandom in ways I've never thought I'd explore it before. From, everything from walking the Celebration floor with you, who's now one of my best friends, to going to Chicago and Orlando and Anaheim and, some of these cities I normally would never visit. So it's been quite the ride the past 6 years now that I'm approaching 40 years old this weekend, by the way, on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep. I'm a year or two older than you, but you're a week ahead of me. And that's also, I remember, it was either when we first met that first get together, the first Rogue One party, or it was, that it was when Making Star Wars was still a thing, or whatever.
Go ahead.
It was either on my birthday, the day after, or the day before, because I remember I had to, I didn't have to get permission, but it was one of those things like, can I go? Because birthdays aren't that big of a deal for me. I mean, they are, but it's like, if you celebrate my birthday in March because we got tickets to go see something, we're going to go to a hockey game in March, or, whatever the hell it happens to be. I'm happy with that because that's my birthday present. It doesn't have to be on that day, but some people in our lives, I think you're kind of the same way. It's your birthday. You need to spend time with me. We need to celebrate it on this day exactly the way it is. So I had to hey, is it okay if I go? And it's like, okay, but don't be out too long. And then I got that. But yeah, but it was, so I think it was either the 16th or the 17th. But anyways, all right, I'm sorry, I digress.
No, you're good. I kind of remember that now. Yeah, that was awesome. No, I mean, I'm just kind of reflecting on the past 5 or 6 years, from having Steele Saunders sleep on my couch one night to just some debauchery drinking evenings with a bunch of listeners and friends. And I'd always drink your beer because I'd always come back with an extra beer and you didn't drink back then. Well, you don't drink now, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just been crazy. And I hope the next decade that we're currently in is going to be just as much fun, man. I'm kind of psyched to run this decade with you, my brother.
So we just kind of let this have its own thing. What do you think is going to happen in the next? You brought up what's going to happen in the next decade. I mean, we already know the slate of shows we have coming up. Shows and movies, whatever it happens to be. But past this, what we already have announced, the few live action shows, the few cartoons, the movie or two. What do you think we're going to get in the next decade?
It's hard to speculate that for me, because everything that I've wanted, I think they've already kind of slated. But the only other thing would be and this is going to sound pretty cliche, but the Old Republic. So if we can get an Old Republic trilogy within this decade, I think that would be huge for me personally as a fan, because I played the games 1 and 2. I played a little of the MMO, which was done by BioWare. I wasn't really a fan of the MMO, but the original games on Xbox were fantastic, and I love the Revan story. If they incorporate that somehow into live action theatrical, I think that would be great. Even if it's a show, a matter of fact, maybe even a show would be a better format. And that's a whole other conversation, but I feel like so far, so good with Star Wars episodic format in terms of TV. I mean, Mando set the bar so high, but I still feel like Star Wars being based off of serial sci-fi from the 30s and 40s as it is, like it just works so well. Not to say that I don't want films in the future. I definitely do. If Rian Johnson is still involved, maybe I think he could pull off the Old Republic pretty well. If not him, I'm sure they're going to have a plethora of directors and writers lined up that are going to be more than talented to do so. But that's where my heart is right now. If we can get Old Republic stuff within the next 5 to 8 years, I'll be extremely happy boy.
Yeah. Well, we got Old Republic game coming up. You're a big gamer. We have the game that's been announced. I mean, they've announced a bunch of games lately. Nothing I don't think is very close to, being ready to go. But the Old Republic game, and I was actually, I guested on Tatooine Sons this past week. I think the episode came out this morning. And that was one of the conversations we had. Like, how do you go and, this is one of the things with what they, the new Star Wars, the Disney era Star Wars, whatever. I consider it all Star Wars, but it's just easier to say, pre, BC, AD, it's just easier to say like the Disney era, even though it doesn't change my love of it. It's easier to break down what you're talking about.
Right.
So KOTOR was Legends. It was always Legends. The game was never canon, but we have things like Darth Nihilus, Revan is now canon and in name only and maybe in a picture or two, but backstory could be completely different. What they're doing now is you have these great minds in Star Wars, people that love Star Wars, cherry picking new ideas or cherry picking from Legends, the things that are good, because people get upset with me, but it's like 20% of Legends is amazing, 20% of Legends is complete trash, and the other stuff in between is like, who really, it's all right. So you take, that 20% that's amazing and try and figure out what you can do, because you could never make it. It was never canon. You can never just decide it's going to be canon. So you're trying to pick bits and pieces and putting it into these shows. That's why you get a lot of things in The Mandalorian that are so amazing that people, wait, I thought I remembered that. I think that's kind of Star Wars, even though I'm not that big into Legends. But I still know about what happens and what goes on. How do you, this was one of the questions they asked me, how do you make KOTOR the video game, which all the video games are now going to be, canon based? How do you do that and have it be different than the original one and not have the huge strife that you get with a lot of things that are happening nowadays in the, the Disney era?
I mean, I think if you start with, and this is what they're kind of doing with High Republic, right? They're starting with other formats of media than live action, and then they're building up to the main event, which would be like a live action format, like kind of like what Acolyte's going to be for.
Oh shit, we got a book coming out tomorrow. We got a book coming out tomorrow. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
February already.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
It's just okay. All right, finish your. I like looking at. No, it's oh god, Claudia Gray's book is tomorrow.
Oh, Claudia, I'm sorry, that's what I meant too. I always do that with their names. Is that because their initials are the same? Probably. Anyway, I think you can get a great Old Republic story in an open world RPG format in a video game that doesn't necessarily have to be the main event, so to speak. of like a trilogy of films or a series, a live action series for Disney Plus. I feel like, you know, they have to expand the universe in all the eras constantly and consistently, obviously, which is where you were going with like Legends and canon. So I feel like the best way they're figuring out how to do that is by introducing different parts of the world, meaning the galaxy, but in the Star Wars world, with different forms of media. So, you know, I feel like if we get a starting point as a game for this era, and then that builds up to this main storyline of a show or film, that would be a great way, I think, that they could go about it. So I'm not worried about, you know, them kind of doing something like that, or perhaps, you know, blowing their load, so to speak, on just the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think there's room for both. And listen, Fallen Order was great. I thought it was great, but it's like, it's not really my cup of tea. Like I'm more like a Skyrim, you know, Breath of the Wild style. So, I mean, if they go open world with it, like full real open world, I think that would be, that'd be awesome, especially with the generation of gaming we're in today. You know, I mean, your consoles are basically like hyped up computer machines. It's like ridiculous.
Like a Red Dead Redemption Star Wars, where
something like that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, go anywhere, do anything, choose your own adventure style, side quest galore, light side, dark side, you pick type of thing. I think that would be great because, you know, Fallen Order is fantastic. It's still a linear experience. Like the story's not going to change regardless of like how you play the game. So, you know, something more along the lines of an RDR or like I said, a Skyrim would be unreal. Mikey, give me 2 seconds. My dog is having a conniption. I'll be right back.
Sure, dude. All right, so we also have, I was about to ask him even before that, hey, where's Jackson? What's going on with Jackson? I haven't seen Jackson yet today because Jackson.
Let me fill up his water bowl and then I'll bring him right over. Hold on.
Okay. That's always one of the, you know, Jackson's fucking amazing, man. He's so much fun going over there and playing with that little dog. Hey, Smokey's here. How you doing, Smokey? And we also have, I know I highlighted a few of his comments on here. We have our buddy Josh from the Talking Sith podcast, which is another great story. You know, it's, you know, how I became friends with Josh because of Mike. And, you know, Josh started podcasting because of listening to Rogue One, and he had his friends in Star Wars. They're like, hey, we sit around and talk about Star Wars. Let's just record it. I mean, you know, the basics, you know, whatever, however it goes. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's like I was saying earlier, you know, it's like you make a couple of really good friends. You know, I went and I just basically had a shotgun blast of, you know, all these. I had 100 Star Wars friends. And, you know, out of that 100 Star Wars friends, it's been dwindled down to a couple that are really, really close. You know, and then I have guys that I hang out with and talk with now that I would have never met before. So it's just really amazing the way the, you know, community comes together.
Hey, buddy, I'm back. He'll be here in a minute. Okay. He's doing his thing over there.
I was thinking right before you said anything, I was like, "Where's Jackson? I haven't seen him yet because he's usually sitting on your lap."
Yeah, he'll be here. He's getting cabin fever because of the snow. So like I couldn't take him out really because of Hoth in New York today.
Yep.
I shoveled the sidewalk, but he wasn't having it. He was like, "This is fucking crazy," because the wind alone out there is, you know, you'll be dead before the first marker, you know?
Definitely. Well, I took Delilah out. Delilah didn't even walk outside. So I had to take her out and put her like where it was already shoveled and she still wouldn't go. She was trying to walk up people's porches to go inside. I'm like, no. And I had her outside for like 5 minutes and she wouldn't do anything. And then she decided just to take head first right into a snowbank. I don't know why. So then, you know, you got this little 10-pound dog and she had on a sweater and her little booties and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not worried about the snow with her feet, but it's when she steps on the salt. And then, you know, that like the dog can't handle that. It really bothers their pads.
Right.
But then, you know, she sat around all day long and she let me know when she wanted to go. and when she had to go, just boom, right out.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy, man. I mean, it's I don't know if it's still snowing by you, but excuse me, it's still snowing here. It's been snowing for 24 hours.
yeah, and people think, oh, it's New York. New York's like, listen, I'm from Buffalo. This is weather week in Buffalo that you're used to, and they're ready for it. And New York isn't. There's the subways are shut down, the majority of them right now, because you can't run subways outside in the snow. So there's no subways. You can still take the bus, but instead taking it's a mess, and they have to wait till all the snow gets clear before they can reopen the subway. So things are still, it's not like shut down, like dead. It's just much more of a hindrance. But yeah, New York people, people don't understand. New York City doesn't get weather like this. Every couple of years they do. They a couple times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, they say we're going to get a storm like this, but we never do.
Right.
And then every 3 or 4 years you actually get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got like 18 inches already. It's supposed to still snow till tomorrow, so
it's supposed to snow until tomorrow. Well, I'm hoping that I can go in and just work all day tomorrow. Work from open to close. Work an 18-hour shift. Make some overtime, and then I get bonuses for because. New York's got a bunch of New York City has a bunch of labor laws put in there to try and protect people, which actually make things worse. But that's a whole other story in itself. But so then I get bonus money for working extra long shifts and stuff like that. So I can go in, and have an $500-$600 day working all day. It would be great, but it all depends on if we're open or not. So I don't even know yet. But yeah, anyways, all right. So
see what happens, I guess, right?
We got Smokey in here. I'm not sure who Smokey is, but he sure wants to tell us that he feels like they could kill off Mando, and then we could. Let's see what's he saying. I feel like they could probably kill off Mando in a couple seasons, and he would never get to meet Grogu, and that's how you would end the season, and they would have to end the show. There's really no reason for them to end the show, because even when the show ends, like the TV series ends, they can write comic books then for another 50 years.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. I wouldn't understand the purpose of killing Mando off at the end of the series. I mean, Star Wars isn't Game of Thrones. If it makes sense plot wise for whatever reason, or if it does because you want to put him on the full journey, beginning to end, I don't think Lucasfilm in this era is going to kill off a franchise character right now that Din Djarin's becoming. But we never know, right? It's only we're coming up on season 3 early next year, or mid next year, whatever. So like, I still think anything's on the table. Everyone's always jumping to, but then he's, they age differently. He's never going to watch his son grow up and be a Jedi. And like slow down, one step at a time. Like, that's so far away from anything plot wise that's going to happen, in the next 50 years forward from this era, right? Like, we still have to remember, like, The Force Awakens doesn't happen for another 15 years or something from where we're at right now. So like, everyone's just jumping around because, and that's what makes the show so great, because it makes you go there. It makes your mind kind of, and that's what Star Wars does, right? It makes you kind of think like, well, what if this and that could happen and this, but I don't see them killing Din off, but what do I know? I just don't see it.
Yeah. Well, it's like, so we have a lot of our mutual friends that aren't big on Filoni and Ahsoka being in everything, and they're kind of vocal about it. But like,
yeah, but
he even said with the Mandalorian, he's not going to bring in characters unless they fit, unless there's a good reason for it. So like when he was bringing in Ahsoka, a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, it could only have been a couple, but they're like, oh, Ahsoka, of course Ahsoka is going to be in it, but she made sense, and it sets up for her TV show that she's going to get, that's coming out. He's bringing in, they mentioned Thrawn. Is Thrawn going to be back in Mandalorian? Not really sure, but Thrawn's going to most likely be in the Ahsoka show, or maybe Thrawn's going to get his own show down the line. It's like the new Star Wars that we're getting is like the original trilogy Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say the new Star Wars, I mean like what we've gotten in the last year or two.
The Filoni-verse.
Yeah,
so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, Filoniverse is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, because like that's really, you know, you had Lucas, and then Lucas kind of went a little bit nutty with his Star Wars. But he trained Filoni, and Filoni is, you know, embedded with the original trilogy and what George wanted in the vision he had. But he just kind of has, you know, the little, you know, George just went in and was like, listen, I have these ideas. This is what we're going to do. And then it's like, I'm rich now. Let's do whatever the hell I really want to do. And let's just talk about midichlorians. And, you know, his whole sequel trilogy was going to be all midichlorians. And, you know, maybe Filoni, that's not his cup of tea. Hopefully not. But you know, it would be like the doozers from Fraggle Rock just sitting around inside your body telling you what to do. That'd be a nice Star Wars concept. But all right, so yeah, we mentioned the High Republic. Have you kept up with the books yet?
I mentioned this on just quick plug on Pop Culture Hour, which I'm on. I got the Audible, and I haven't been able to get through the second chapter so far because I keep falling asleep. So I should probably start it a little earlier than that. But I spoiled myself, and I got the Cliff Notes, so to speak. And the Nile sound pretty cool. The Jedi and the characters I appreciate so far from what I've read. I really want to get through this Audible. I know you're a huge Audible fan, which is another – you're like one of the reasons why I kind of went for Audible and not read it, you know, got the actual book. Because like I could do shit like work and, you know, go to sleep while I'm listening to a chapter here and there and kind of get through it. But I haven't made it that far. Claudia Gray is one of my favorite Star Wars authors. So I think I'm more excited about this book that's coming out tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a physical copy of that just, you know, because I'll probably stay awake reading that. So yeah. So to answer your question quickly, like I'm kind of caught up to speed, but I probably don't have enough detail to kind of go into like chapters and stuff.
You know, the first book that we got, it was really good. It was kind of long. I'm gonna have to listen to it again because there was just so much going on. But they made it where you can kind of follow it. You know, it's not like kind of like Aftermath was just kind of, for me, Aftermath was a jumble. There were so many new characters, so many things going on.
Right.
You know, but it's like I said, one of the shows last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. The first book was amazing. The young readers book was a lot more fun. You know, it's dumbed down a little bit, but you're not going to get any great canon. You know, that's what's even great about the Star Wars, like the children's books. They have some Easter eggs in there that are amazing. But like, you know, you're not going to get any great canon stories in there. But that's also, I was saying, you know, if you're talking to somebody about books with Star Wars, you need to know what they like. You know, right. You can't start somebody off with Bloodlines if they're not a big Star Wars fan and they're not going to care about you know, trade routes and the politics and this and that. You know, you start them off with something like Dark Disciple. That's going to be, you know, more of a fun story, right? You know, to get them into. But yeah,
speaking of Claudia Gray, though, Dark Disciple is one of my favorite books.
All right. Yeah, Dark Disciple is really good. Claudia, she did Bloodlines.
She did. I was listening to that on Audible before Light of the Jedi, and I got further along with that. Meaning, when I say further along, meaning like it would keep my attention and keep me awake. But maybe it's because Leia is in almost every scene. But that was good. That was good too. Really good book.
So, all right, what's your favorite Star Wars book?
Oh wow. Probably Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn, which doesn't really count right now, but old school.
Okay, what's your favorite real Star Wars book?
It's either Plagueis or Dark Disciple. But Plagueis is still Legends, but for my head canon, I consider it pretty close.
Good. Yeah, I don't see this is where, man, Plagueis is fun. But of course,
Dark Lords of the Sith was good too. That's with Vader and Palps. Yeah, they're on Ryloth, I think. That was good.
That's where you have is that do you have Tarkin coming in that one? Is that one where I don't know? It's like I really need I really need like I mean there's 40 novels, so it's kind of like hey I need a second to go through or to try and figure it out.
No, I mean I haven't read them all. I mean I didn't even read the last one of the Aftermath trilogy, but I kind of go off reviews now because there's so much content out there. I'll tell you, I love Vader's comic book, all 3 eras, or all 2 eras or whatever. I just think it's well written. It keeps my attention. And it's just, Vader's just so badass. And when we see him in, before Return of the Jedi. So far it's been great. The line, the one now between Empire and Jedi, but also the prequel era between Sith and A New Hope, and then how he gets his Kyber crystal, and then the one between Star Wars and Empire. That was a great comic too.
All right. So we had a question or somebody. Do you have a biker scout uniform?
I do.
That was Rural Farm.
Who knew that?
Rural Farm Boy, of course.
Yeah, I do. My buddy Mike Hinton, who's 501st, is supposed to do some alterations for me because I got it when I was a lot skinnier and a lot younger. And I also had some pieces that were Velcro that really need to be stitched better or stitched in general. So it's on the radar. I was actually going to get it done pre-pandemic, but then the pandemic hit and I wasn't driving down to Pennsylvania. So hopefully one day.
All right. So, well, you talked about you had Rogue One. That was your podcast that you did with Johnny and Hawes. And now you have 2 more podcasts that you're doing.
Yeah. Hawes really has his own baby, which was Blue Harvest. And he's guesting on a bunch of shows every month. And he got a new job recently last year, which ate up a lot of his free time. So, he really couldn't commit to the responsibility of doing another weekly show on top of Blue Harvest. And it kind of came around the time where Rise of Skywalker was already out and released on home streaming and Blu-ray. So, Johnny and I are passionate about a lot of other fandoms. And while, Disney Plus is still strong as hell with Mando and all these other great shows that we're going to get, and Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan and Cassian, we just decided that it was a good time to kind of expand a little bit outside of just Star Wars. So we changed formats to all things pop culture, but mainly, geekdom and Marvel, DC, Star Wars, video games, comic books, and it's called the Pop Culture Hour. Emily Lind, who's a longtime listener and also on the Canto Bite Dispatch, she's on with us as a co-host. She's fantastic. It's at the Pop Culture Hour on Twitter. And then somebody who produces the show for YouTube for us, does all the editing and adds a lot of flair, is Mr. Bill Beck at Darth Pizza on Twitter. He is a video editor. He's fantastic. He's another one of my best friends. Him and I are doing a side show. I guess call it a spinoff of a spinoff. And that's called Scumbag and Villainy. We're not sure who's the scumbag, probably me. And you can find that on YouTube at Scumbag and Villainy. Just type that in. We're actually not on like any podcast like streaming services yet. We're pretty much proper to YouTube, but it's really just like Bill and I having a good time together. We talk a lot of Star Wars, but we talk a lot of like life and everything else that's on our mind. We're just having fun with it. I think that's the most important thing, Mike, right? Is like that we have fun with what we're doing. And the moment that it doesn't become fun, it becomes more stress than fun. Like I know I'm not doing it, right? Like this has to be more fun for me than stress because my job's already stressful. Life's already stressful. Like this is our outlet to get away from all that shit. So Bill and I use it to kind of hang out together and share about everything that we're passionate about. And we're both head cases. So if you're a head case like myself, you may find our content interesting. So check us out for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. things that have happened in your life now, you and I are much more similar, in ways that, people wouldn't have maybe thought about, and same with Bill too. Now that I've gotten to know Bill a lot more, we're completely different people, like, or we act different or whatever. But like when you get down to it, we're really kind of similar.
I agree.
Down to like the core. But yeah, it's just it's kind of weird.
That's the cool thing about this fandom, though, is like, if you and I were in high school and there's 100 kids, we don't sit next to each other in a homeroom. Would never think to hang out or like try to get to know one another. Maybe I'm just using it in general theory, like in the third person. But like because we share so much passion for Star Wars, that like we got to actually sit down and get to know one another and realize how similar we really are. And that's the coolest thing about it for me. It's like all walks of life are now in my life, that as friends and stuff. So, it's really cool.
Pauline wants to know what else you cover for pop culture.
Well,
just subjects you do.
Yeah. For instance, like this last episode, we talked about the Lord of the Rings series, prequel series that's coming on Amazon Prime. We talked about the Game of Thrones prequel that HBO is kind of in flux with. We talked about The Sandman, which was a comic book apparently from Vertigo/DC. The series is being produced right now. We covered Justice League's extended cut that's coming to HBO Max. So it's like everything that you'd see on like a comicbook.com or anything Kevin Smith would talk about. So a lot of Marvel, a lot of DC, a lot of science fiction in general. I mean, I went on like a 5-minute rant about how excited I am for the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming to HBO Max in April, because I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, even though we haven't had good content in quite a while. Actually, there was a cartoon that was pretty good that came out, but yeah. So it's really, we run the gamut on sci-fi and geekdom.
All right. So now, you personally, besides Star Wars, what gets you going?
Well, I'm a big hockey guy. You know that. I think you're a Sabres fan.
Yep.
I'm a Rangers fan. They're absolutely horrible. They're breaking my heart. We've got the number 1 pick too. I'm a huge gamer. Got a PS5, got a Switch, got a bunch of retro consoles as well. My man cave, if you will, my little starship I've got in my basement. And I don't have much time to game lately because of work, but when I do game, I just played Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was great. Spider-Man Miles Morales was awesome. Played some Demon Souls, if you guys know what that is. I beat Jedi Fallen Order. Mike, I also have a Quest. I love the stickers on your Quest, by the way.
Yeah, we got where are we here?
There you go.
Well, that's me. That's what we're doing right now. We're on the Bacta tank. We got Nubs. Nubs is no longer with us. She went to doggy heaven last Christmas.
Oh.
And little Delilah, who's still here. But who was it? Sticker Mule has freaking amazing deals sometimes. And it's like, you can get 50 stickers for $9. And I went and I got a bunch of different, stickers for the TooMedToo's network and, this show and that show that we do. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, they still have more deals. I was like, Delilah needs a sticker and she needs magnets and she needs this and she needs that. And then of course, Nubs wasn't with us anymore, but I was like, well, Nubs needs a sticker too, because Delilah has one. I don't want her to feel bad, looking down at me in doggy heaven and being like, Dad, come on.
Speaking of Jackson, Nubs must be present because Jackson just ran to the window when you said his name.
That could be. She was like a person with her mentality, really. So she could be around. Maybe she's over there playing with Jackson right now. I don't know. I think she's
doing something. She
comes and plays with Delilah every now and then, I think.
It's cute.
But all right, so you're for your collecting. You do.
I'm a weird collector.
You really are. Like me, I collect Star Wars books, but I don't collect the novels. I collect the visual dictionaries and things like that. I mean, I have almost like 200 books, and some of them, I'll get them like they're legends. They're from they're from the 1995 or 1996, but I still get them, even though they don't really mean anything. Like for me to, I like the one time I did a book report. I spent I already knew the answer, but I spent the entire day looking it up because it was when, after we find out this is the way and the Mandalorian Creed from season 1, does that make Jango Fett a Mandalorian? Does that make Boba Fett a Mandalorian? And I already know the answer. Episode 1 or episode 2, he was. Episode 3, he went away from that because you can tell that by looking at the dictionaries or whatever. They kind of go away from it. So after I did this whole thing, like, well, this book says this and this book says this, and it's like basically it's inconclusive. Somebody's like, let's ask Matt Martin from the story group, and his answer was, there's really no answer that we have right now, but you'll get an answer soon, or you'll find out what the answer is really soon. And then it's like season 2 of The Mandalorian comes out. And it's like, oh, okay. But we still don't have an answer. We still don't know. It's kind of like, it depends who you're talking to,
Right.
Right. Like I bring up the point, like if you're from, Puerto Rico, if you ask someone that's from Puerto Rico, they say they're Puerto Rican, but they're a U.S. citizen, but they're not,
Right.
they don't consider themselves an American. Or if you're from Guam, it's a province of the United States, so you're a U.S. citizen. You can come and go as you please, but you can't, so it's like different. Like even like Hawaii, if you're from Hawaii, if you're from Kansas and you say where you're from, you say the United States. If you're from Hawaii and they ask you where you're from, you don't say the United States, you say I'm from Hawaii. It's just kind of like weird different ways that things are. So I mean that kind of goes into that world too, and we still don't even have answers. We just know this faction thinks this way, this faction thinks this way, which can bring up a lot more crazy Mandalorian ideas and thoughts on what's going to happen. I know we've talked about this. We've done, like, that's the best thing about this is, like, I don't even know what show we were on talking about it, because was it my show, was it your show, was it somebody else's show? Because it doesn't really matter. It's like we just want to sit around and talk, and whatever it is what it is. Is it going to come up that the Mandalorians that raised him and the new Mandalorians that are going to be helping him out with Bo-Katan, are they going to come back up? Is that him taking off the helmet going to have something to do with it? It's like that was the after show. I think it was me, you, Bill, Josh. Like it's hard to even remember who was there. Like, was Patrick there? Was Patrick is Gannon. Was Kylo there? Like who was there when we were talking about it? It's just too hard to remember anything anymore.
Dude, it was also 5:00 in the morning.
Yes.
I mean, shit.
We're maniacs. And not like we got up early to go hunting at 5 a.m. We just stayed up to watch TV.
It was insane. I mean, I think I went to bed at I was the first one to sign off too. I think I went to bed at 5:30 or 6, between 5:30 and 6. That was crazy. But that's the beauty of it, though, right? Like, doesn't matter whose show we're on talking about it, and just to have that memory with you and Bill. I think Bill was with us, like, that for me, because you guys are two of my close friends. That was just awesome. I'll never forget that. That was a lot of fun.
It's like, but it's just so funny talking about like things like, I'll never forget the first episode of Mandalorian. I spent, and that's like, so, the last few months I really don't go on Twitter anymore. It's made my mental health just so much better. I go on there to promote shows, just take a minute or two and look, instead of being on there all day long and being how many likes did I get? And let me be the first one to comment on this. And you want to talk about this in a debate? Okay. And then it's hard to tell what people are trying to say. And then it's an argument because you can't understand, were they joking or not joking if you don't put an LOL afterward. It's so now it's just like, what? I'd rather just sit around and talk with people every day instead of being on Twitter. Whatever it is. But I remember I stayed off, I was, pretty much addicted to Twitter. I stayed off Twitter all day for The Mandalorian because you had to work. I ended up at your house, and at the end of The Mandalorian, you and I basically were sitting there hugging each other going, oh my God, just screaming because they showed Baby Yoda.
That was a night to remember for sure. I mean, we didn't know, we weren't spoiled at all. We had no idea what was going to happen. and then that pram opens up, and we see Baby Yoda. That was another night, man. That was the first time he came over, I think.
Yeah, that was the first time I came over. And then I was over a bunch after that.
Yeah. We had a blast here.
Yeah, man. It's funny because it's like I tell people, even though we're both in New York City, the way we're located, I'm down here, you're up over here. You know,
it's like it's you're southwest and I'm northeast. So it's like a horizontal line, and to get over here for you's a pain. But honestly, I would have invited you over a lot more if we weren't in a pandemic for 10 months. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been a crazy year. I would have loved to have you here for season 2. That would have been awesome. Hopefully, Book of Boba Fett, we could do like a viewing party again. That would be fun. Maybe we could even stream it.
That would be great, man. Whatever. Like, that's what it's all about. It's all about hanging out and being friends and finding something that we love together and doing what it is. So, Book of Boba Fett. Now that you brought it up, do you think that's going to take place then at the same time as Mando, or is it going to be into the future? Because it was a great way they revealed it. Also, it was like the Marvel reveal at the end, like, hey, check this out. So there were some people that watched the season finale, or the season finale of Mandalorian, and didn't even catch it. I think Bill was one of them, or Josh was one of them. Whoever was on with us, we're like, wait, you didn't go back and watch it. We're going to stop talking right now.
Right.
Are they going to run concurrently? It's supposed to be a limited series, so are we just going to get 6 episodes? Or, limited series, does that only mean 2 seasons? Like the words they put on things really don't mean anything.
Right. I don't know, Mikey. Like, if I had to have it my way, I don't want to see him crawl out of a Sarlacc pit in a comic book or a novel. I want to see that on the screen. So if I had it my way, I'd have the first episode him kind of coming out of the Sarlacc and, hooking up with the Tusken Raiders, him all battered and bruised and digested. And then kind of have him up to the point where he's gotten himself better and healed up to where he can start tracking his armor down again to what we now know what happened in The Mandalorian. And then kind of it's the Book of Boba Fett. So I feel like you could break up the episodes. They don't have to all be in like in sequential order, so to speak. Not like Clone Wars where it hops around too much, but do like before and then do like present time that we know that he's got the palace and he's with Fennec and they're going to like build up their guild or their clan or whatever. I would like to see maybe some flashback stuff. So if he's like, him and Fennec are on a mission or they're doing something and then he meets a character that he's met before, maybe we'll see like a flashback during like OT era stuff, which wasn't even that long ago from where we're at because we're only, 6 or 7 years after Jedi. It's hard for me to speculate on what they're going to do, what Favreau and Filoni have planned, but I'll tell you this, like, I know it's going to be awesome. If Mando 1 and 2 have anything to go off of it, like, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And you know what? I always said Tamora Morrison was going to come back. A lot of people, from 5 years ago saying, "Oh, The Rock should play Boba Fett." I'm like, get out of here. Like, I knew Tamora Morrison was going to come back at some point to play Boba. Look, we knew Boba wasn't dead because George Lucas said Boba wasn't dead, that he crawled out of the pit. I know you've seen that before. So, yeah, I just think it's an awesome time to tell the story as it mixes in so nicely with Mandalorian,
Yeah, I'm one of those that, not that I didn't care either way, but it wasn't Boba Fett's cool, but he wasn't, one of my favorite, or I had too much invested into him. But it also depends on who I talk to. How I change my views sometimes. Not really, but certain people say he's dead. They said he's dead. There's no, it's like, well, until you see a body, there's not anything. And then other people are like, oh no, he's got to be alive. It's like, well, he's probably, so like I like to play devil's advocate a lot because it's more fun that way.
Right.
But But yeah, it's like, in Star Wars, is Mace Windu dead? They told us he's dead, but they can bring him back very easily because we never saw a body. Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many things that can happen. I think Darth Maul's probably officially dead, but you still have Darth Maul stories you can tell, and people love Darth Maul, so maybe we'll get some more Darth Maul stories or Darth Maul comic.
We've got. I was just gonna say we got that open-ended Crimson Dawn story with him and Kira.
Yep. Well, I still think that Solo 2 is going to happen, and they're going to run it the way that Netflix did, hopefully better. But Netflix did the Marvel series or the few series with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and a couple other ones that were in there. They're all separate entities and they're on their own, but there's some crossover. We're like, hey, we're friends or that friends. Back and forth. And then like this person comes in and that person comes in, and then all of a sudden it ends with one big story where they all come together. I still think that that's what is going to happen with Solo 2. And I think they're laying the tracks with, we're getting a Lando story. Well, we don't know anything about the Lando story yet. But I mean, that would make perfect sense, to do something, like that, because you can then tell 4 different stories. Like you could basically have Disney Plus running all year long with the Make Solo 2 happen storyline, and not have it be that, because it's all different stories that after a few years, accumulate into one big thing. But I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's the right way to go about it, similar to the MCU format.
Okay, so yeah, we started talking about collecting. What do you collect for Star Wars stuff?
For Star Wars stuff specifically, wow. I got a fuck ton of books, both novels and encyclopedias and art books, probably over 50. I have a bunch of Funkos, maybe about not as many as close to what you have, Mr. I don't collect Funko Pops.
I don't collect Funko Pops.
So here, let me back up. So I'm a huge hoarder and collector. There's a reason why I limit myself to Star Wars collecting, because like I'm a completionist when it comes to my collecting. And if I collected Star Wars the way that I collect, say, video games or Transformers, like I'd be broke, divorced, and probably homeless with my toys. So like it's just too tall of an order for me. Like there's just too much Star Wars. And I mean, you know about that more than anybody else, because I've seen boxes of Hasbro and Amazon Prime boxes building up in your home. So like, with Transformers, I don't love the franchise as much as Star Wars, so I can get away with not being a completionist there and just buy really, really cool pieces that I love. And with video games, I only really buy games that I love. Lately I've been collecting a lot of retro vintage stuff from when I was a kid that I couldn't afford, or I traded off or sold or whatever. So I'm rebuilding some of my old youth there. I think you've seen some of that stuff too when you were down there. Mm-hmm. I think so. And the other franchise that I collect for is Dragon Ball. So I'm a big Akira Toriyama fan. I'm not a huge anime fan. I like anime. I'm not a huge anime fan, but I love Dragon Ball. I've been watching it since 1995. And I collect the Funko Pops for Dragon Ball. I've got almost every single one, which I'm pretty proud of, because there's over 150 now. So that's with variants and convention pieces and chase pieces from Entertainment Earth and Hot Topic and the rest of the vendors that you can imagine. So that's been a lot of fun chasing that stuff down. So I still keep the hunt going. I got the hunt going with Transformers too, because Hasbro has released a lot of the Generation 1 toys in Walmarts and stuff. So that's been fun. And don't get me wrong, there's some Star Wars Black Series that have turned me over to the dark side, so to speak. Like I needed that Darth Revan when it won as the fans' choice. Yep. You and I were online in Chicago at the Hasbro Pulse booth. I don't know how we sneaked online somehow. I think we double dipped. I should have got that Obi-Wan and Maul episode 1 Black Series. I still regret that to this day. And I've got a Star Wars Atari arcade machine in my basement. I'm gonna get a dummy mannequin for my Scout Trooper armor. I've got a Japanese Return of the Jedi original vintage theatrical poster framed. That's up in the basement now. I've got a full theatrical size Revenge of the Sith poster up down there as well. That's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, by the way. And clothing, Baby Yoda stuff lately. But like everything Star Wars, I have at least one category, something Star Wars in every category, so to speak. But it's not like I collect all the Funkos or all the toys the way that you do, because I collect for so many other franchises, and it's just too tall of an order. Unless I win the lotto, and then I'll literally buy Ranch Obi-Wan, like everything that's in that freaking museum, which is so awesome.
Oh yeah, that's insane. Like when I had Gus Lopez on here, who has probably like the second biggest collection, but it's not just action figures. He has the largest cereal box collection because there's thousands of them. And it's like his house. He's turned his house into a museum, basically, and he doesn't do it often, but sometimes he lets people come in or groups come in and, literally tour his house. And it's just like he has these things set up in his living, these displays set up in his living room or whatever it was. But yeah, he's good friends, and trading back and forth with Rancho Obi-Wan, and it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, you get to that point and it's not even, I don't know, it's not even like a collection anymore. It's just kind of life. Like I would think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It does. It becomes a big part of the way that you live. Especially when your house is succumbed to it, right?
And that's the other amazing thing too. It's like people start sending you gifts, and you get some toys, and it's like, oh, okay, and that's what he just has it on a much grander scale. Right. But I mean, to this point, yeah, of course, he's probably tracked down the majority of the things, but I'm sure there's still a couple things out there that he doesn't have, and from the original trilogy that he'd be happy to acquire, and see how things like that go. So what are any future endeavors for Michael Pappas in the Star Wars world?
Wow. Well, let's see. I've met Peter Mayhew. I've met Carrie Fisher. I met Dave Filoni. I'd like to meet Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill. So that's up there. I'd like to meet George Lucas. But other than that, more realistic endeavors, there's a bunch of Star Wars Adidas kicks that I've been eyeing that I want. There's the Han Solos and the Boba Fett's from last year, the NMD ones that are really dope. I'm looking forward to getting those eventually. And sneakers are tough. Like if you collect sneakers, they'll do a run, and if it's a limited run and there's only so many in your size, once it's sold out, it's sold out. You can only get it secondhand or on the meaning not worn secondhand, but like from somebody who bought it and wants to resell it for more money. So that's going to be tough. Probably going to pay a little bit. I'll definitely be playing the shit out of that video game when it comes out. I got my tickets to Celebration 2022 in Anaheim. I kept my tickets, still got it. So I will see you there, I hope.
What pin did you get?
Stormtrooper.
Okay.
I got a Stormtrooper pin.
All right. Yeah, that's the same one I got. I heard some other people got some other ones, but
yeah. I was kind of disappointed with it, but honestly, but yeah, that's a huge endeavor, man. I mean, I'll say this at Celebration, I want to meet someone in Star Wars that I haven't met yet. Some of the names I mentioned probably won't even be there, but if I can meet, Hayden Christensen or, anyone from the sequel trilogy that may be there, that'd be awesome. And maybe get a tattoo, maybe get a Star Wars tattoo at Celebration. It's on the brain. Starting to think. I think you and I have talked about this before.
We have. We've talked about getting some matching Star Wars tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, but for some reason in the last year or two, I've had a bunch of people like, hey, we should get a matching tattoo for this or for that. And just recently, the last couple of days, there's been some tattoo talk coming up with me and a couple of friends. And this morning, actually, it came up, with me and two of my friends. It's like, hey, we should get a match. If this happens, we should get it too. And it's like nothing big, something small, just like a little tiny thing, just to be like, hey, and it's
right.
That I don't know. I've never had it before. It's like, and I'm always like, yeah, sure. And just nothing ever comes around for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even have an idea on what I would get yet, but I definitely have seen a ton that I've really liked that I wouldn't mind having. So like, as we get closer, maybe I can kind of figure that out, but it's definitely on my mind, something that I would want to do there. And like the best Star Wars tattoo artists in the world are usually there. That you can book. You got to book them in advance usually for like 6-7 hour session. I wouldn't mind doing that though. Kind of getting some ink right there, 6-7 hours on the floor. I wouldn't mind it.
Celebration is a completely different beast though, because like, I was always a Star Wars fan. But I didn't get into the whole social media thing and conventions and things like that. You and Johnny and Araj are actually the ones that got me collecting shit, because I went to my first Comic-Con and met you guys. And you guys are walking around the floor and buying stuff and getting stuff. And then I came home and just, eBay, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks, I had, 50 figures floating around, and it just kind of, goes.
Now, don't you have every Black Series figure?
I know, because there was something I skipped that I was like, oh, I don't like. The original ones. I have the majority of them. I have a lot of the convention exclusives. I think I have most of the convention exclusives. There's one or two that I think that I don't have. Like, I don't have the Thrawn one. But yeah, some of the earlier ones, it's just like, they didn't look good.
Right.
So, and I got more of, like I got the AT-AT driver, because like that's one of the first toys I had as a kid. The first figure that I remember having. Like things along those lines. I got more like the nostalgia reasons, or I like this figure, not to be a completionist. But now like the newer figures that come out, I just if it's coming out, I just order it. It's like, and I use I know I've talked about it before. Entertainment Earth. I've never had an issue. I've had issues with everybody else when they deliver, things come in the mail, especially your big box retailers or whatever. But I've never had an order with Entertainment Earth. Everything's like double packed and perfect, pristine when it comes in. It sometimes takes a little bit longer for them to get their stuff to you, but I just want to have it. Like, yes, it would be nice to have it, be the first one to have it and be able to talk about it, be like, hey, I have it first. But, when it comes down to it, just as long as I have it, it's the only thing I really care about.
I just remember waiting on that Hasbro Pulse line with you, and you were you were like, there's no way we're going to get the Obi-Wan in the mall. And I think did you get 2 of each? Or no, we could have gotten 2 of each.
No, so all right. So I'm gonna bring it. So everybody that knows Mike knows he's always in for the hustle. He's always trying to make a buck. And I don't want to ruin his rep, but he got this rep for kind of being, always out like, I don't even know how to say it, because whatever I'm going to say is wrong. But he's always, like just this guy who's always, I don't know, like a shyster, but he's really not, I mean,
it's just about being smart with where you're at and what you can get, I mean, like if I'm getting something for myself and I see an opportunity to get it for somebody else at, or
$20, $20.
Yeah. Or if I able to pull away with more tickets for a movie than I should, it's if I can profit on it and make somebody happy at the same time, or if it's somebody that I'm really close with, I won't.
Yeah. So, all right. So basically, yeah. Josh brings up the whole $20 thing. So Mike will rent out a theater for Star Wars and be like, hey guys, we got a private theater. Don't have to worry about anything. It's $20. Give me $20 for the ticket. You can come in. Well, you find out that it's only $13 for the ticket to get in there. So he's making $7 a person. He's got 100 people in there, in the theater or whatever it is. So he made $700.
Nobody complained.
But he did all the work getting put in all the legwork, getting the money to go around, collecting all the money, getting in there for the theater and putting everything together. So, it's well worth the money. But that's kind of like where it stems from. But we were in there in a Hasbro Pulse line, and they were like, people, you're running out of stuff in Funko, you're running out of stuff and Hasbro Pulse. So he wasn't even supposed to be in line with me, like in to buy stuff. But because they let him in to buy stuff, he could have bought anything in there. And they gave him that opportunity to. And he said no. And I turned to him, I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? He said, what if I buy something and someone that's supposed to get it can't? And I was like, that is so true. Because that just shows, I just ruined his rep.
No, it's fine. My rep's been embellished anyway. But because I wasn't as passionate about those figures as you were or anybody else in that line was, and I didn't belong there. So I just kind of felt bad because that's Celebration, man. It's the Mecca. It's it's very special to us. It's not just another Comic-Con or convention. So I paid some respect right there. However, I did get a sail barge from HasLab. Now the sail barge story is interesting because when it first came out, I was like, this thing is rad as fuck, and I want it, and I want to hang it from a ceiling, and I'm gonna put Jabba in there, and I'm getting Yak Face, and it's gonna be dope. And then it showed up at my house, and the thing was like bigger than any piece of furniture I owned at the time. So I was like, I can't, And my girlfriend, who's now my wife, was like, what are you going to do with this thing? Because we don't have the room. I mean, Mike will tell you first and foremost, if you live in New York City, there's no room for anything. Like we live on top of ourselves, even if you have a nice place. Like it's, that's very room is very valuable in terms of square feet. So I just couldn't. I just had no place to put it. So I threw it on eBay. And I think sale barge was what, Mike, like $550, $600?
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what it was with shipping. Shipping, they added an extra $100, $200, I think. But yeah, I think the base price was $500.
Right. So I sold this thing on eBay for $12.50 with shipping. I got a good deal on the way I shipped it, though. I shipped it cross country to California. The guy who got it was like a diehard Star Wars fan. He was a veteran. He was in the Army. He wrote me this long letter about how he's so excited to receive it. And he was asking me about packaging instructions or how I was going to pack it and shipping instructions. So I was happy to give it to him. Turns out I get a ton of shit because on Rogue One, I started talking about how I flipped it for $1,200, that wasn't enough. I should have got $2,000 for it. Wasn't worth it. So then Corey from Now This Is Podcasting. And now, Corey's, got his own, shtick going on with his show. He manages to score all the Star Wars Celebration exclusive gold or chrome Funkos. I think they were
the blue ones. Yeah,
they were blue, right? So I go on Steele's show that night at the bar.
They were they cost $15 each, and I believe there were 7 of them, maybe 8. So
he got the whole set, and he sold them for $1,200. And he only paid $150 or whatever total or something.
Yeah, not even.
So they were saying that Corey's a better hustler than I am. But I'm like, it's not really apples to apples because Corey spent half his day online at the convention to get these freaking things. And I just pre-ordered on HasLab when the sail barge came out. It really wasn't a big deal. So I would take those hours spent hanging out with you, going to Celebration store, getting the mall jacket on Phantom Menace anniversary. I would rather have done that than waited online for a bunch of Funkos that I was going to sell, Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you bring up the Celebration store. People waiting in line, you had to get advanced. People waiting in line for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. You're wasting your half a day or whatever. Here, I don't know how the hell we get lucky with shit, dude. It's got to be the good karma because even though we get a bad rap, and, on many different aspects of things, it's deep down we are good people. We're walking by and all of a sudden the guy's like, hey, you guys want to come in here? We're opening the doors. Sure, walk right in there. Boom, no line. 4 minutes later, there's an hour and a half line, whatever it was.
We were passing the entrance. We were passing the entrance to the Celebration store the second that it was reopened because they closed it off for a good solid hour. So they reopened it right when we were passing by. And if we were standing literally 10 yards away, it would have been an extra 20, 30-minute wait. Because when we went in, everybody followed us in. We still had to wait because the line was built up, but it was closer towards the end, like the actual entrance where like you're next to go in to purchase products. So like, I mean, I remember we still had to wait like 30 or 40 minutes. But the point is that like some people waited 3 to 6 hours, I heard, the max.
Well, yeah, because you had to wait for a few hours to get into the line to get in. So it was like you'd wait for, it was like there was basically two lines. There was there was a real line to get in and then an overflow line. And the real line was usually about a half hour to an hour. And then there was the overflow line. But people were waiting in the overflow line for, multiple hours. And yeah, we just, just get lucky, dude. I don't know what to say.
In the store, I got a bomber jacket. It has Darth Maul's on the back. I really got it mostly for collector purposes. I thought it was just super cool as a memory to be there for there was a Phantom Menace 20-year anniversary. That was like one of the flagship products they had to celebrate the anniversary. You got some exclusive stuff in there.
I got a bunch of t-shirts. I'm a big t-shirt guy. Like Star Wars right now. I have Danielle always talks about what a horrible dresser I am because I always dress. I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt and a button-down shirt. This one just happens to be a Hawaiian shirt. Sometimes they're long sleeve, sometimes they're short sleeve. But I'd say like 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm wearing. So I think I probably have 60 or 70 Star Wars t-shirts. Some of them I don't see for a couple months because they get pushed to the back of the drawer or the closet. You forget that you have them. And then it's like, oh wait, laundry day. I got to grab something else out of there. But yeah, I think I have t-shirts that I wear, except for t-shirts to work, but even my work t-shirts are Star Wars t-shirts. I think I have 2 or 3 that aren't Star Wars t-shirts. But that's what it always is. So yeah, it was a lot of Star Wars t-shirts. And then just a couple other little things that were cool. That were there, little knickknacks or whatever.
Yeah, I think I got a celebration pin. I got the celebration t-shirt, the one with the episode 9 artwork on it with I believe it is. I don't know why I feel like it's all episode 9, but maybe it is. So that was pretty memorable. And I got the one with just the logo, like Star Wars Celebration Chicago with the yellow font. I got that one. That was cool.
Yeah, but that was when the Mandalorian was announced. I got the Mandalorian.
That's right.
That was the other thing too. We got the books, the pop-up books.
That's right. We got the pop-up. I got the Game of Thrones pop-up book for my sister-in-law, who's a diehard Game of Thrones fan, and we talked to one of the publishers of the book.
I don't know what he was. I think it was one of the head honchos. It's Insight. It's the same ones that do the whatever. Yeah, the Insight editions. They do the pop-up books. They do the Galaxy's Edge cookbook and the other dessert book that's coming out. I think next month. He was one of the head honchos up there. I don't think he was. I mean, I don't really remember, but he was. It's a smaller company that's got this really exclusive gig making specialty books for Star Wars. Well, other places too, but Star Wars I think is one of their bigger ones.
That was a fun day when we just went shopping for a few hours.
Yeah,
browsing and shopping. That was really fun.
Yeah, and then that was a great thing too. We're sitting there, great story. We're sitting there, and I think the books were $85 each, and he's like, but I'll give it to you for $65, and I was like, no, 2 for $100, and he's like, okay, 2 for $100. All right, deal. So we they were probably getting everybody the $65 deal. Just the way you got to make it seem when you're selling something is that we're getting something special, so we're gonna buy it with the $20 off. And I'm like, that's not good enough. We're taking 2 of them. Give me another $30 off the whole thing. And
it was because that was Sunday, right? I think that was Sunday.
I'm trying to remember what happened because
the last day or second to last day, I think.
There was a panel for the pop-up book that day, but they didn't have the pop-up books available to sell until the next day. So I think it might have been Saturday. And but then the author was going to be there on Sunday. So I forget what it was because I had to mail you stuff back and whatever. I don't know. It's all a blur, man. It's that's the whole thing. It's just 4 or 5 days of nonstop Star Wars and fun and parties, and even if you're not partying, it's still a party because it's meeting this person, that person. It's just nonstop for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it was a blast, man. It makes me really grateful that we had that opportunity after seeing how quick that cannot be reality anymore after 2020. So I'm just so happy that we got that one in the books, and I'm looking forward to Anaheim. I hope it really happens.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in Anaheim. I think we're still going to have an Anaheim. By then, things should. I mean, I figured things would be settled down by now. Not trying to get in the whole is it whatever it was, but it's still going on. For whatever the reasons are. Hopefully it's going to end up soon. We have who knows what's going to happen. New York's still just a shit show. Like they don't even know what's going on. They open up restaurants one day, close them the next day. Say you can't have restaurants open inside, you have to be outside. So they build outside restaurants on patios, which is just the exact same as the inside. So it's like they don't know anything. And then they close them back down, and then they open them back up. Well, guess what? They're opening for Valentine's Day this year. It just happens.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it's like 25% indoor dining.
Yeah. Which isn't enough to do anything. And this is the other big issue about this. There's a lot of loans that came out for restaurants or whatever. That once they start ringing money back into the cash register, they have to start paying the loans back. It's going to be hard for them to pay the loans back open full force at 100%. But they're open at 25%, and you start ringing money in the register, you just got to start paying that money back. Even though that's not even that 25% isn't enough to support you even without repaying the loan. So it's kind of like, what do? Do you reopen because you're legally allowed to, but it's going to bankrupt you? Right. But you can't afford not to, but you can't afford to. So it's just, it's just a big shit show, man. It's really bad, poor management. And, I've been one of the people that was like, you either need to do everything or nothing. It's this little bit back and forth. And then, it's just, and now there's lawsuits because, places are using their own information against them because, it's just, that's a whole other show in itself that'd take 10 days
I know
to talk about. But I'm one of the people think I'm crazy. I'm one of those people, I had COVID and I had it in April. My lungs are still messed up from it. I'm still on medicine, back and forth to doctors, and I have to get tests done and, whatever BS. And I'm going to be on medicine, they're telling me at least a couple more years until my lungs are fully, healed. And it's like, if I have the opportunity to get the vaccine, I'm going to get the vaccine because I've seen what it can do to people. That get it, and some people get it and nothing happens to them. Not the vaccine, but the virus. Some people get it and nothing happens to them. Some people get it and they die from it. I know how bad I was. I don't know what's going to happen if I get it again, or a mutated version, or they still don't know if you can actually get it again, or how things work. And it's like, for me, like, you do you, but for me, the risk of getting the vaccine and having some side effects from it are way better than me dying from COVID or me having to be, walk around with an oxygen tank for the rest of my life because it messes up my lungs again so bad. So it's like, but I think enough people are going to get the vaccine and things are going to happen. And, who knows, is it going to be like the flu vaccine where you got to get a COVID vaccine every year because there's a new strain. And it's like, hopefully there's enough coming out. I mean, that's nobody knows. It's crazy speculation. I mean, everybody will tell you they know what's going to happen and they think, but it's just, let's hope that Anaheim happens. And, maybe you'll find me and Mike sharing a room together.
And dude, I mean, I don't think you've been either, but like Galaxy's Edge, I really want to go.
So do I. That was my plan. I was trying to plan it out. Do I want to go? I'm going to California. I'm going to be there for 5 days for the convention. Do I want to be an extra day or two before, an extra day or two after? And I was like, I might as well just take a week and a half and go a day or two before, a day or two after.
Yeah, me too. That's what I want to do.
You can really only for me, I could afford to go one day, balls to the wall, do everything, buy this, buy that, whatever. But I could still go and hang out there, or see what's going on because we got, we know friends. There's people. Everything's always happening.
Right.
but now it might be a little bit different, but there's still, we're still what, 16 months away, 18 months away
Yeah.
for the next one. So, listen, guys, save up your money. I know it sounds like a lot of money, and it does cost a lot of money, but if you can stash away, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks a week, on top of, whatever else you're doing, stop that cup of coffee, or, don't supersize your whatever the hell it is. It's definitely something that you want to try and do, especially now that you have a year and a half to do it.
Yeah, man.
Well, all right, buddy. I'd love to sit here and talk with you all night.
Me too, man. But the wife is already like, I told her I'd spend some time with her because we haven't been spending too much time together lately. So with where I've been back. So in case people don't understand what I'm saying, I was out of work for a little while, just some mental health stuff, but I'm doing really, really well now, as Michael knows. And just work's been really busy as I've been getting up to speed the last 2 weeks. And I'm just exhausted because, like, when you take like 2 months off of like the grind and then you go back to it, you got to readjust mentally. So like, I've been spending 8 to 10 hours at the computer and then just crashing, man. You know what I mean, Mikey? Like it's been crazy, but
I know. That's good, man. I mean, it's funny to see because, I mean, I have mental health issues too, and I've, that's one of the reasons that sometimes people get put off by me, not because of my mental health issues, but because I'm so open and I talk about shit and I don't really. So it's like, wow, you're just gonna say that out loud? You're gonna say that in public? And it's like, I mean, that's the way it is, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? If I had diabetes and I said, hey, I have diabetes or whatever, you're gonna tell people you have diabetes? I'm bipolar. Oh, you're bipolar? You're going to tell people that? I mean, I am. Like, what do you want me to do? And if you know me, you can probably kind of tell, even, with medication or therapy or, whatever, you kind of, when you get to know somebody, you can kind of like, oh, that makes a little bit more sense, or how things go. Or, I have I have an addictive personality. Well, if you really knew me, you would know that. Right. So it's just, so it's just, I don't know, man. It's great. But yeah, I mean, that's like, I've had, this, the 50th episode and, going for however many. And, I was off all that time for 8 months with COVID. So I started doing YouTube almost every day. And, now I'm back to work, working full time. And I got a side gig doing some streaming on Live It. You can see right down there. Download and watch me on Live It. Where I'm just on being me, and people like that. I don't know what's wrong with them. But, people want to hang out with me and talk with me. I've made a bunch of friends that way too. And it's like, and that actually pays the bills, where YouTube's fun and fun to hang out and fun to talk to. Right. And, then I got this other thing that I can still go do and have fun and, do interviews with people and talk. Like, I could be doing this if I could be doing this over there tonight, but it's my, my Monday night show that I do here. So it's kind of like the same thing, and that kind of, that pays the bills and helps out, and that's gonna, it's been a couple months, but it's becoming really, really good for me. And, that might be able to get me, a suite for Star Wars Celebration. And nice. Instead of, me and Mike trying to figure out, how we're going to sleep in that single bed together, because we can't afford anything else.
Listen, if you get that suite, I'll probably wind up staying with you regardless. But if you get that suite, I'm staying with you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
Michael, I love you, man. I love you so much. I hope I can see you in person soon.
All right, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me on. This is a pleasure. Let's make this more of a habit. And Bill and I want you to come on Scumbag and Villainy real soon. I'll talk to him about it this week, and I'll throw you a text, man. And we'll get you on there.
Yeah, if you guys, if you guys don't know Scumbag and Villainy, Bill or Mike will just call each other and record the conversation they have. And if it's something good, they'll throw it up on YouTube. I'm sure there's some that don't make it on there or whatever, but if it's something good, they throw it up on YouTube. If there's a way to do a 3-way call or something like that, man, I listen, I'm sitting around most of the day.
We have done like real episodes where I'm sitting down, there are where we'll have you on one of those for sure.
All right, man. But yeah, make sure you check out Scum and Villainy. It's in the notes at the bottom, not the link for YouTube. I'll tell you that I'll put it in there, but I'm not gonna. I never do. I always say, and I always have the intention to. And then it's like like next week when I'm going through and check, it's like, oh, I didn't even put this in or that in from last week.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, they're on. You can just search them on YouTube, search them on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, you can find them. But dude, I love you, brother. Thank you very much.
True, man. Be good. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
So you guys, you can either thank this man or blame this man for me being sitting here talking to you guys right now.
A little bit of both. A little bit of both, I bet.
Yep. All right, brother.
All right, Michael. Take care, man. I'll talk to you
Thank you very much. All right. I love you, man.
Love you too.
All right. So as everybody knows, Mike's been out here a few times. We did we've done some shows together. There's a little link right there if anybody wants to hop on real quick. You guys make sure Kylo Customs is in here. Make sure you're following Kylo Customs. He's the reason there's still a septic tank going on. Like I said, I am back to work and I am working Saturday nights for right now anyways. Once my next promotion thingy goes in, I'm going to be on mornings, and then the next promotion goes in, I'll be back on nights. When I'm on mornings, it's going to be Monday through Friday. So I'll be able to start doing, the septic tank again, but right now I really can't do it. So we got him and Rural Farm Boy, Spencer, Gannon, they all, Christina, they all pitch in and help out, it's mostly Kylo. He runs it for me when I'm not doing it. But he's got his own channel too, Kylo Customs, Kylo Custom Squad. And, I was just reading the question. I wasn't sure, what it was, but, and he does, that's why it's like, if you guys have been around for a while, that after the show now is when I invite people to come on and we would all come on and talk. And, now it's, 10 o'clock. But we talk for another 2 or 3 hours. That's how I said sometimes sometimes they go 2 or 3 in the morning. But now it's kind of lighting the load on me and I can do my other side gig, because now we're going to go over there talking. And it's just the way that the community works. But I have some things. Those are from Live It. But I do have definitely, Pauline S. is Kylo Customs YouTube channel under this. It's Kylo Customs Squad, I believe, is the name of the channel. I should know that. I need to take some time and, I need a day off. I need a snow day. They got a snow day today, and it was my regular day off, so it didn't really count for me. But I got this in the mail, so I do have one thing. I got something. You know what? After this is over, I'm going to call and find out. I still have something else coming for me. I actually have. I don't think this is Mike's present. I got Mike's birthday present coming, but it's a long story behind that. But all right, there we go. We got it. The first one before I had to say anything. What's in the box? Oh my God, I'm caught. I'm dying. Oh my God. All right, what's in the box? What's in the box? Boom. Where's Patrick when you need him? All right, we have Beware the Adventures of Vader's Castle. Yeah. So you comic book nerds, there you go. This is what we got. This is the comic books. And if I'm correct, this should come out at Halloween. And yeah, Tales from Vader's Castle, Return of Vader's Castle. I'm pretty sure these are Halloween horror stories of Vader. Yeah, that's all I got for today, man. I gotta you guys know. Most of you that are, well, I don't know. I was gonna say most of you follow me on the, but I know Spencer's there hanging out with me. It's basically Live It is what I wanted YouTube to be. Like that's why I was pushing so hard to get to that 1,000 subscriber. Not for the money. I mean, listen, I make a quarter a day off of YouTube if I'm lucky, and that's the days I do shows. So I just did, you know, a it's gonna be a 2-hour show. I'm gonna make 50 cents off of it if I'm lucky. So it's not done for the money; it's done for the fun. But I wanted to be able to go around and take my phone and mobily stream on YouTube, which I can now do. But it's just a different atmosphere. That's basically what I do on Live It. And Spencer can tell you it's completely different. But yeah, I don't know. But it is what it is, man. All right. I want to thank everybody. I thank all of you. It's because of people in this chat, my friends like Mike, Rural Farm Boy, Josh, Spencer, Kylo, Patrick, Trevor, the people that were in here. We had the Reverend in here today. We got Lego Builder that stopped by. A couple of people that, I don't even know, new friends that we're meeting every day, that we're still going. And going to have another one, and the Patreons and the patrons, and just showing up on other people's shows and talking. And, you've seen me hit up, a couple of the things like, Josh said he'd hop on, but it's not the best audio. I don't care, man. Whatever. You want to come on? Come on. I don't care about the audio. It's not about that. It's about hanging out with friends. I mean, yes, I wish I had better audio too. I wish I had a $300 microphone and my headphones were a little bit better and I did that, but I don't. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just love you guys. It's gone from the whole Star Wars community to like, I like the people for the most part. But there's just like those certain people that have really become like true best friends. Whether it's like Mike or Kylo or, other people. And then people that don't even watch the show or come to the show because, I can tell you, but pre-COVID, if you guys knew me, I was always had a podcast going. I was listening to 10, 12 podcasts a day, YouTube this, YouTube that, while I was doing Twitter at work. And, COVID hit and I was home and I really don't listen to them anymore. I still have a few people that I'm patrons for or Patreon. I don't even watch those or do those. I catch them here for a couple minutes or whatever. Someday it might start back up again. Who knows? I keep saying, who knows? Royal Farm Boy's not here to tell me to stop. But all right, y'all. Yeah, thanks. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Not the biggest channel, not the strongest channel, but I come back here for the friends, and that's what I really do it for, is just having some Star Wars friends to hang out with. And with that, that's a good day. May the force be with you always.